What's up, everybody? Matt Kajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we're talking some college basketball bets ahead of Saturday, January the 21st. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. If you're listening on podcast, please leave a rating and review over there as well. And as you can see on the screen, we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, and they have a phenomenal offer for you guys where you're making a $5 wager on any sport you want, any team you want, and that is automatically turning into $200 in free bets. Here's how it works. You head over to DraftKings Sportsbook or just click the link in the video description below. Make your first deposit of at least $5 and then place that $5 wager on anything you want. Turns into $200 automatically paid out in the form of free bets. And legal age for gambling in most states is 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, big slate of games today. We're going to dive into three, and we'll keep this quick. This is actually, Saturday. The biggest day for college basketball is actually the hardest for me to record videos because of the sheer number of games and the shortened prep window, tipping off at 11 Central Time, sometimes earlier. But we'll give you guys what you want. Just know, first and foremost, these are mostly line value plays based on the model rather than me digging super deep into this to start. But we'll kick things off here with Arizona taking on UCLA. I grabbed this as a pick 'em. And of course, if you're really interested in college basketball betting or any betting, really, head over to our Discord server, Insider Access, where we talk about all these things ahead of time. It's where you can get these lines. The current line for this game, I'll pull it up here. I think Arizona is favored now. If we could pull it up. Yeah, Arizona's -1. So I took this at a pick 'em. I think -1's still fine here. UCLA is a great team, but stylistically, Arizona has a ton of size advantages on this team. And Arizona has been kind of picked and prodded in the media recently. They have a couple losses in conference. Lost to Washington State, lost to Oregon. And they weren't really that competitive either. We're talking double-digit losses to both, but they just rebounded against USC. They have other wins over Oregon State. That's not saying much. Washington and Arizona State in conference. But basically, this is a highly rated team that plays through two bigs in Omar Ballo and Tubelis. And when teams dedicate extra resources to those two players, Arizona needs to hit their threes, which they have not been doing at a high rate this year. You have Kirk Kriisa below his career average in terms of three-point percentage. Pele Larson way below his three-point percentage in terms of career average. And Courtney Ramey, their best three-point shooter on the season at 41%. He's not been getting consistent minutes, but it seems the coaching staff has finally realized that. They've now dedicated extra minutes to him. He's playing well above 30 consistently. And Ballo and Tubelis are just going to have size advantages over UCLA. This is not the biggest team, especially in the Pac-12. So stylistically, in terms of rebounding, things like that, where size is really comes into play, Arizona's third in the country in rebounding. UCLA's 143rd interior defense. UCLA 131st. Arizona is 8th in the country at scoring in the interior. So you can see this is going to be a big mismatch. I think perhaps the biggest mismatch in the game. On defense, UCLA's defensive efficiency is high. It's 5th, but they're another defense that lives through turnovers. They're 10th in the country at forcing them. Well, it turns out Arizona is one of the best teams at taking care of the ball. They're actually 10th in the country at turnovers committed, 10th being the good side of that. You want to be a lower number. So Arizona -1, I think, is still fine. We grabbed this at a pick 'em. Second bet, we'll head to the Big 12, where we took Baylor taking on Oklahoma. Grab this as a pick 'em as well. Current line looks like it's -2.5. A little steeper, but I think this is fine. Maybe you could also play this on the money line. Baylor's taking on Oklahoma, and the biggest thing is they're on the road. Now, I'm not sure this matters a ton in this spot. Baylor's finally playing with their full starting five, like their full roster of players, outside Chama Chachua, who's going to continue to miss some time. But the starting five we thought they would have, they're finally playing with it. They had a bunch of nagging injuries throughout the year. And you look at how these teams match up stylistically, you essentially have the same defense, not scheme-wise, but Baylor's 119th in defensive efficiency. Oklahoma's 101st. Then on offense, there's a drastic gap. Baylor's 9th, and Oklahoma's 107th. And again, Baylor's dealt with injuries all year. So there's one really standout unit on the floor. That's Baylor's offense. The rest are pretty mediocre. And you look at how Oklahoma defends. They're a team that defends the three very well. They're great at defending the perimeter. They're 13th there. But on the interior, 134th. Baylor scores in the interior, 35th overall. And then rebounding again, Baylor 95th, Oklahoma 300th. You look at turnovers on offense, Oklahoma is 338th in turnovers committed. Baylor's 60th at generating turnovers. There's a lot of minor advantages to Baylor that overcome this road trip for them. So we'll back Baylor. And our third one, we're going to stick in the conference and look to TCU, take it on Kansas. This is a great spot for TCU, betting-wise. Kansas has been a team I've been looking to short in conference play with some success. Had the Kansas State game, which was awesome. But you look at TCU versus Kansas now. In conference play, Kansas has done nothing but play close games. I mean, you can go back to Oklahoma State, 2-point win. Texas Tech, 3-point win. They beat up on West Virginia pretty bad, which is the only one where there's a big discrepancy. Oklahoma, 4-point win. Iowa State, 2-point win. And Shot Quality had this as a loss for Kansas. And then we saw what happened to Kansas State in overtime. This is a good team. Now, this team is running hot. There's no doubt about it. They're running hot. And they're now matched up against a solid team in TCU as well. Like, this TCU team just beat the Kansas State team that beat Kansas. And we're not going to use the transitive property here. But all this to say, TCU is quality wins. They beat Texas Tech. They beat Baylor. Now, they also lost to Iowa State. No shame in that. It was a 2-point loss. 4-point loss to Texas. No shame in that. And they're coming off a brutal loss to West Virginia. So ultimately, this comes down to points for me. You are buying TCU low and selling Kansas high. I do believe Kansas is the better team and will win this game. But I do think 6.5 points is too much. I took this at 7.5, closer to open. But I'm fine with the 6.5 here. And if you want to dive into stylistics, we'll just get to this quickly. Kansas 50th in offensive efficiency, TCU 63rd. Kansas on defense 33rd, TCU 17th. This is very close, and it's very close across the board. Rebounding, TCU 87th, Kansas 57th. Turnovers, both these teams are good at forcing them, and they don't turn it over a lot themselves. These are close margins between these teams. So getting a spread this wide, even with Kansas at home, is something I'm going to look into with TCU as a dog here. Let me know in the comment section what you think of these games. There's a ton on the board, and we're going to be talking about them all day in the Discord, so check that out. And let me know what else you like. Otherwise, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe on the way out. If you're on podcast, again, leave a rating and review. That helps a ton. You can follow me on Twitter if you'd like. I'm at Matt_Gajeski. Otherwise, we'll be doing this videos almost every single day, so check those out. And until then, good luck.